Welcome students to our course on fibers for composite. We will be discussing today about unit 4, which is the fabrication of composites. The topic of today's discussion is on blow molding. First we will see what we have discussed during our last lecture. During our last lecture I have given introduction about the manufacturing methods of composites, that is the fabrication. I have spoken about number of manufacturing methods such as hand layup, blow molding, bag molding, pultrusion molding and preform molding. And I have actually started to speak about hand layup technique. Hand layup, from the name itself, it implies that by using our hand we can manufacture the composite, and it is one of the simplest method of composite processing. And we have seen about the how the procedure is performed for the hand layup technique. Normally it is a open method where there is a mold in which you will put some release gel, and then you will keep some fibers, you will stack the fibers in different layers, and then over that you will put the matrix, and then you will make a composite. By finally we carry out the autoclaving process to cure the composite, and then you will get the final product. So it's a very simple and basic method where there is only a very capital and the infrastructural requirement is less as compared to the other manufacturing methods, and it is mainly suitable for thermosetting polymer based composites, and its application areas are aircraft components, automotive parts, boat hulls, dashboard, deck, etc. So this is the brief introduction of the previous lecture. In previous lecture I have explained you in detail about the hand layer process. You can go through those slides. In today's lecture is on blow molding, another manufacturing process which we are going to see. So what is this blow molding? Blow molding is the manufacturing process that is used to produce hollow plastic parts by inflating a heated plastic until it fills a mold and forms a desired shape. So here you can see the names like hand layup or blow molding or bag molding or pultrusion molding. The name hand or blow, whatever it says, that actually speaks about what is the working principle involved here. So when it is a hand layup, it is clearly understood that by using your hand you make the composite. But here it is blow molding. So something you are blowing. What you are blowing? You are actually blowing a heated plastic. You are blowing a heated plastic until it fills a mold and you form the desired shape. How you are going to do this blow molding, that we are going to see now. The first step involved in the blow molding process is the manufacture of parison. So in this process, the thermoplastic in the form of a small pellets or granules is first heated above the melting temperature and molded into a preform using injection molding or extrusion process. So the first step in the manufacture is you have to make the parison. Parison is nothing but, yeah, it is like a preform, like a plastic, which is normally by manufactured by using a small pellets of the polymers. You melt those thermoplastic polymers and then you make a preform or a parison using the injection molding or extrusion process. This is the first step. These preforms are used to feed into blow mold. So here the preform is heated above the glass transition temperature and formed into a hollow tube which is called parison. So the preform, whatever is obtained, whatever you want to manufacture, that you have to heat it above the glass transition temperature. You have to actually melt it, and then you have to convert it into a rigid hollow tube which is called parison. The parison is nothing but it is a tube-like piece of plastic with a hole in one end in which the compressed air can pass through. So first process is the parison manufacture, which you have to manufacture by using a injection molding or extrusion process. Once if you manufacture the parison, then next step is the blow molding process, which we are going to see now. What is the working principle of blow molding? Here, the parison is clamped between two mold halves and inflated by high air pressure until it conforms to the inner shape of the mold. Now I will show you a picture in which you can clearly understand how this blow molding process is performed. You can see the picture here, number 1, which is shown here. You can see there is a rod here which is connecting, and here there is a tube which is shown here, and there are two halves that is separated. These two halves that are separated is nothing but the mold cavity, and this tube which is called as the parison. This parison only you have manufactured it through the injection molding or extrusion molding, and this parison is open in one side and closed in other side. So you mount the parison over this rod, and here in the first step these mold cavities are kept open. Now coming back to our discussion, first the parison is clamped between the two mold halves and inflated by high air pressure until it conforms to the inner shape of the mold. Then what you do is, in the first step you mount the parison, and in the second step you actually, the split halves are closed, and the third step is you blow the parison through this rod. You inject the compressed air and then blow the parison, which is a plastic, so that whatever, depending upon the blowing pressure, this plastic will take the form of the mold cavity. And then in the next step what you do is, your process gets completed so that the split halves of the mold gets opened, and the product whichever you require that comes out. This is the brief description about the process. So the air pressure that is used for blowing is around 60 to 140 pounds per square inch, depending upon the material is used. The preform is always stretched from the center of the part during the process. Here the preform means it's parison. This is a single stage process, as both the preform manufacturing and bottle blowing are performed in the same machine. You can use the same machine to perform both the preform manufacturing or the parison manufacturing and the bottle blowing. You can do it in the same machine. The formed part solidified as it is cooled inside the mold. The mold halves are separated and final product is removed. Final part may be trimmed. Now, this fourth step is one of the important process, because during this third step what you do here, you blow the compressed air inside the parison so that parison gets expanded. Parison, when you blow the compressed air, you actually do some heating also. So because of the compressed air and heat, this parison gets expanded and then takes the shape of the mold. So in the fourth step what you need to do is, you have to, once it reaches the required shape of the mold, you have to reduce the temperature, because here you heat the material to the glass transition temperature. Hope you all may be knowing what is meant by glass transition temperature, the transformation of the polymer from glassy state to the rubbery state. So here the polymer, whatever the plastic parison that you have kept, that has transformed from glassy state to the rubbery state. But in the once the parison has expanded to the required shape, that whatever is the mold cavity size, then after that you need to reduce the temperature, because the finally you have to remove the product that you have manufactured. So what you need to do is, you have to bring the temperature to the normal temperature, that is the less than the glass transition temperature. You have to reduce the glass transition temperature, so that here it is in the form of a molten rubber state. But in here, when you cool it, when you cool the polymer, what happens, it converts into, again comes back to the glassy state, and it forms a rigid plastic bottle. So once you cool it, then only you remove this cavity. Then only you open this cavity, so you get a rigid solid plastic bottle you get from this process. So the cooling process also is very important. The cooling process also occurs when the mold is kept closed. And once the bottle gets removed, here you do little scraping both at the top and the bottom depending upon the dimension of the bottle that is required for manufacturing. Generally, the mold can be made up of metal, and the cycle time depends upon the finished wall thickness. Generally, the mold is made up of metal only. If the part wall thickness is 1.5 millimeter, the cycle time will be 40 to 50 seconds. How much the cycle time it requires for making the product. So you can now see a very clear color picture here. You can see this is the rod, and here this is the injector which penetrates inside this parison. This violet color which is shown here, this is the parison, and this is the cavity. So once the injector penetrates inside this parison, it will start blowing the compressed air, and once the compressed air is blown, it occupies the shape of the mold, and once it sequentially it occupies the shape of the mold completely, then your process is completed. Then you cool the polymer and then you trim it so that you will get the product. Now I will show you a small animation here which you can see. This is how the parison drops and mold gets closed, and you blow, so excess is trimmed down once that bottle is made and the cavity opens, then your bottle is ready. So this is a very small animation which I showed you. Now coming back to our discussion on blow molding, we will see continue with our further discussion on blow molding, which is the process parameters. What are the important process parameters that are involved in this blow molding? One is the amount of plastic material, and number two is the melting temperature of the plastic material, and number three is air pressure required, and number four is cooling time. So here the amount of plastic material is one of the important parameter. This is decided by how much amount of pellets that you use to manufacture the parison. So the parison thickness is decided by the amount of plastic material. Next is the melting temperature of plastic material. Melting temperature of plastic material is not fixed. It varies from polymer to polymer. For example, if it is polyester, then the melting temperature will be different, and if it is polypropylene, then the melting temperature is different. If it is polyethylene, the melting temperature will be different. So it will be different for different polymers. Next is the air pressure that is required. This is the blowing pressure, which you use a compressed air for blowing. That compressed air pressure should be between the 60 to 140 psi. It should neither be too low than 60 psi nor be too high. If it is too low, what will happen? It will not take the required shape of the mold. If it is the air pressure is too high, then what will happen? It will create excess blowing and it will cause some defects in the product that is manufactured. And the last one is the cooling time. This cooling time is also important because you have to give some minimum cooling time to convert the molten solid into the rigid solid. Otherwise, what will happen? You will not get the proper product. It will affect the product, shape of the product, and also the thickness of the product. What are the materials used for this blow molding? There are different types of thermoplastic materials are used. Here, since it is a blow molding where you give some temperature for blowing, normally in this process we mostly use the thermoplastic polymers. What are they? We use high density polyethylene, low density polyethylene, polypropylene, polyvinyl chloride, polyethylene terephthalate, which is polyester, then polycarbonate. So these are the types of thermoplastic materials that are used for the blow molding process. What are the advantages? Since it has a very fast production rate, as you have seen, the sequentially the every step from 1, 2 and 3 and 4, this happens in a very fast manner. So the production rate is very high and the tooling cost is very less. And the another advantage is it has the ability to mold complex parts with uniform thickness. So that is also another great advantage of this blow molding process. It has the ability to mold the complex parts with uniform thickness. Depending upon the size of the mold, you will get the uniform thickness. And here the little scrap is generated. What is this scrap? Once you manufacture the mold, in the top portion, as you have seen in the previous discussion, here this is in the top portion where there is the lid and the bottom portion. Here whichever is excess plastic that is there, that can be easily scrapped out. So only the little scrap is generated from the blow molding process, unlike the other process. And another advantage is large hollow shape can be produced. This also depends upon the what is the size of the mold that you use for the manufacturing. And final advantage is the produced parts can be recycled. Like plastic bottles, whatever you produce, those can be actually melted again, then again it can be converted into Parisen and reused. So that is also one of the great advantages, so that it reduces the pollution aspect is spoken here. Then what are the disadvantage? It is limited to hollow parts. Thick parts cannot be manufactured. So though there are some many advantages are there, there are also disadvantages. This process is limited to hollow parts. So hollow parts in the sense only hollow type of a parts can be manufactured. If you want to make some large part, then it may not be possible using the blow molding process. You may have to go for some other processes like rotational molding process. So it is limited to hollow parts only. Thick parts cannot be manufactured. This is another disadvantage. If you observe any kind of a plastic bottle, you can see the thickness is not high, it is less only. So here thick parts cannot be manufactured. Next, coming down to applications, different type of plastic products can be manufactured by this process, such as bottles in different shape and size, jars and containers, ducting, fluid oil tanks, mugs and toys. These are all the products that are manufactured by the blow molding process. You can see bottles, jars, ducting, which you see in the day-to-day life, like mugs and toys. These are the non-engineered products. And there are engineering products also, like ducting and fluid oil tanks. So some number of products can be manufactured by using the blow molding process. But very hollow parts, uh, uh, thick parts cannot be manufactured by the blow molding process. So that is the disadvantage. Thick parts and hollow parts cannot be manufactured by using the I'm sorry, it is only limited to hollow parts. You cannot make some non-hollow parts. Is not possible in this. For example, if you want to make a big syntax tank, then it may not be possible by using the blow molding process. For that you may have to use some other process for manufacturing, but you can make the basic products that you are which we are using in the day-to-day life. That is possible. So that's all about the blow molding process. This blow molding is one of the very important process in the manufacturing of composites. So we have now come to the end of the lecture. So thanks for listening. Have a nice day.